My girlfriend said she was going on a girls' trip, but forgot to block me on her friend's Instagram story. I watched her climb into a hot tub with her ex-boyfriend while her friends filmed and laughed. When I confronted her, she said, "Grow up, it's 2024," and called me controlling. One word just made one move that blew everything apart. I'm not begging anymore, I'm leaving. Hey viewers, welcome to the channel. We are just starting and your support means a lot. If you enjoy these stories, please consider subscribing and help us reach our first 1,000 subscribers. I, Cameron, 26, and my girlfriend Zoe Mitchell, 24, and had been together for 2 years when she announced she was going on a girls' trip to Miami for her friend's birthday. She'd been talking about it for weeks, scrolling through Instagram photos of beach clubs and rooftop bars, getting excited about having some time with her girlfriends after what she called too much couple time. "I love you, Cameron, but I need to remember who I am outside of this relationship," she said one evening while painting her nails a bright coral color. "We've been spending so much time together that I'm starting to lose myself." I thought it was healthy that she wanted some independence. I encouraged it, actually. I told her to have fun, to take lots of pictures, to enjoy herself. I even helped her pick out some of the outfits she was planning to pack. Night before she left, we had dinner at our favorite Thai restaurant, and she seemed different. Excited in a way that felt somehow separate from me, like she was already mentally checked out of our relationship and into whatever was waiting for her in Miami. "You're not going to be one of those boyfriends who calls and texts me every 5 minutes, are you?" she asked while we were sharing pad Thai. "Of course not," I said, though something about the way she asked the question bothered me. "I want you to have fun with your friends, I trust you." She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. "Good, because I really need this time to just be me, you know." No checking in, no updates, just pure freedom. I nodded, but I felt a knot forming in my stomach. Something about her tone, her choice of words, the emphasis on freedom made me uncomfortable. But I pushed the feeling down. I was being paranoid, I told myself. She deserved to have fun with her friends. The next morning, I drove her to the airport. She kissed me goodbye at the departure gate, and I watched her walk away with her bright pink suitcase, her hair bouncing as she practically skipped toward security. She looked like someone who was escaping something, not someone who was just going on a fun trip with friends. The first day and a half, everything seemed normal. She sent me a few photos of her hotel room, a picture of her and her friends getting ready for dinner, a selfie of her on the beach. The messages were brief but friendly. I felt silly for having worried. But then the communication stopped. Her last text to me was Thursday afternoon. "Beach day, talk later," with a string of sun and wave emojis. Friday evening, I hadn't heard from her in over 24 hours. I tried not to overthink it. She was on vacation, she was having fun, she was probably just busy. But something nagged at me. We'd never gone a full day without talking to each other, even when we were both busy with work. I decided to check Instagram to see if she'd posted anything. Her account was private and she hadn't posted any stories that I could see. But I remembered that her friend Jessica Torres, 23, who was also on the trip, had a public account. I'd never followed Jessica, but I'd seen her tagged in Zoe's posts before. I found Jessica's account and clicked on her story. First few slides were typical vacation content, drinks by the pool, group photos at dinner, shots of the Miami skyline. But then I saw something that made my blood freeze. It was a video of a hot tub party. The camera was shaky and there was loud music playing in the background. I could hear Jessica's voice narrating, "Y'all are so crazy," she was saying, laughing. The camera panned across the hot tub, showing several people I didn't recognize, and then I saw her. Zoe was in the hot tub and she wasn't alone. She was sitting extremely close to a guy I'd never seen before, his arm around her shoulders. She was laughing, throwing her head back, looking more relaxed and happy than I'd seen her in months. Guy was whispering something in her ear and she was nodding and smiling, but that wasn't even the worst part. The worst part was when the camera caught them clearly for just a few seconds. The guy leaned in and kissed her cheek, and instead of pulling away or looking uncomfortable, she turned toward him and kissed him back. On the mouth. While Jessica filmed it and laughed. I watched the video 3 times, my heart pounding so hard I thought it might explode out of my chest. I screenshot the frame where you could see them kissing most clearly, though my hands were shaking so badly I could barely hold my phone. I tried to rationalize what I'd seen. Maybe it was just a friendly kiss between friends. Maybe it was just the alcohol making everyone more affectionate. Maybe I was misinterpreting the situation. But deep down, I knew what I'd seen, and I knew it wasn't innocent. I kept watching Jessica's story, hoping to see something that would explain what I'd witnessed, something that would make it make sense. The next slide was a group photo taken later that evening. Everyone looked drunk and happy, posing in front of some upscale restaurant. Zoe was in the photo, but the guy from the hot tub wasn't. The slide after that was a boomerang of Jessica and another friend dancing, taken back at what looked like their hotel. No sign of Zoe. I spent the rest of Friday night and all of Saturday trying to process what I'd seen. Didn't call or text Zoe, I didn't know what to say. Part of me hoped she would reach out to me, maybe explain what had happened, maybe tell me that it wasn't what it looked like, but she didn't contact me at all on Saturday. Sunday morning, I woke up to a text from her, "Flying home today, can't wait to see you and tell you all about the trip." The casual tone of the message, the heart emoji, the exclamation points, it all felt like a slap in the face. She was acting like nothing had happened, like she hadn't been kissing some random guy in a hot tub while her friend filmed it. I didn't respond to her text immediately. I needed time to think about how I wanted to handle this. Part of me wanted to confront her over text, to send her the screenshot and demand an explanation. But another part of me wanted to wait until she got home to look her in the eye when I asked her about it. She texted me again a few hours later, landing in 20 minutes. "Can you pick me up? I missed you so much." I stared at that message for a long time. Missed you so much. How could she write that after what I'd seen? How could she lie so easily, so casually? I drove to the airport anyway. I wanted to see her face when she saw me. I wanted to see if she would act guilty or nervous or different in any way. She didn't. When she walked out of the terminal, she looked exactly the same as always. Tanned, relaxed, happy. She ran up to me and threw her arms around my neck, kissing me enthusiastically. "I missed you so much, baby," she said, pulling back to look at me. "The trip was amazing, but I'm so glad to be home." I hugged her back, but it felt wrong. It felt like I was hugging a stranger, someone who looked and sounded like my girlfriend but was actually someone else entirely. During the drive home, she chattered about the trip. She told me about the restaurants they'd gone to, the clubs they'd visited, the spa day they'd had. She showed me photos on her phone, carefully curated shots that told a very different story from what I'd seen on Jessica's Instagram. "You're being quiet," she said when we were about halfway home. "Are you okay?" "I'm fine," I lied. "Just tired." "Well, I have something that will wake you up," she said with a mischievous smile. "I bought you a present." She reached into her purse and pulled out a small box. Inside was a Miami Heat keychain and a shot glass with Miami written on it in bright pink letters. "I know it's not much," she said, "but I saw them and thought of you." I stared at the gifts, these meaningless trinkets that she'd probably bought at the airport gift shop as an afterthought. She'd thought of me enough to buy me a $5 keychain, but not enough to avoid kissing another guy in a hot tub. "Thank you," I said, because I didn't know what else to say. When we got back to my apartment, she immediately started unpacking and doing laundry, talking nonstop about the trip. She was acting so normal, so natural, that I started to wonder if I'd imagined the whole thing. Maybe I'd misinterpreted what I'd seen. Maybe my paranoia had gotten the better of me. Then, while she was in the shower, I looked at Jessica's Instagram again. The story was still there, and the video was still just as clear as it had been when I first saw it. Zoe, kissing another guy, looking happier than she'd looked with me in months. I decided to wait until after dinner to bring it up. I needed to be calm, rational, careful about how I approached this. Didn't want to accuse her of anything without giving her a chance to explain. We ordered pizza and watched a movie, and she cuddled up next to me on the couch like nothing had changed. She kept talking about the trip, sharing little details and inside jokes that her friends had made. "Jessica was being so crazy," she said at one point. She was filming everything, posting it all on her story. I told her she was going to get us all in trouble with our boyfriends. My blood ran cold. She knew Jessica had been filming everything. She knew there might be evidence of whatever had happened on the trip, and she was joking about it. What kind of trouble? I asked, trying to keep my voice casual. "Oh, you know, just typical vacation stuff. Dancing on tables, flirting with bartenders, acting like we're single," she laughed. "Nothing serious, just having fun." "Acting like you're single?" "Yeah, you know what I mean, just for a few days, pretending like we don't have any responsibilities or commitments." It's liberating. I felt like I was going to throw up. She was confessing to everything without even realizing it. "Zoe," I said carefully, "I need to ask you something, and I need you to be completely honest with me." She turned to look at me, and for the first time since she'd gotten home, I saw a flicker of something in her eyes. Fear. Guilt? I couldn't tell. "Okay," she said slowly. "Did anything happen on this trip that I should know about?" She was quiet for a long moment, and I could see her thinking, calculating, deciding how much to tell me. "What do you mean?" she asked finally. "I mean, did you do anything, or did anything happen that might affect our relationship?" "Cameron, why are you asking me this? Do you not trust me?" "That's not an answer." "Yes, it is. The fact that you're asking me this question tells me everything I need to know about how you feel about me." I felt the familiar shift happening, the way she always managed to turn conversations around so that I was the one on the defensive. But this time, I didn't let her deflect. "Zoe, I saw Jessica's Instagram story." Her face went completely white. For a moment, neither of us said anything. "What did you see?" she asked quietly. "I saw you in the hot tub with some guy. I saw you kissing him." She stared at me for a long time, and I could see her mind working, trying to figure out how to handle this. "It wasn't what it looked like," she said finally. "What did it look like?" "It looked like I was cheating on you, but I wasn't. It was just a stupid moment. I was drunk, and he was just some random guy, and it didn't mean anything." "You kissed a random guy in a hot tub while your friend filmed it, and it didn't mean anything." "That's right. It was just a kiss. It was stupid and I regret it, but it wasn't cheating. It was just a moment of weakness." "A moment of weakness?" "Yes, and I'm sorry. I'm really, really sorry, but it didn't mean anything, and it's never going to happen again." I stared at her, trying to process what she was saying. She was admitting to kissing another guy, but she was acting like it was no big deal, like it was just a mistake that we could move past. "Zoe, you kissed another man. I know, and I'm sorry." You kissed another man while you were supposed to be on a girls' trip. I know, you lied to me about what you were doing. I didn't lie, I just didn't tell you about one stupid thing that happened. One stupid thing? Zoe, you cheated on me. I did not cheat on you. Cheating is having sex with someone else. Cheating is having an emotional affair. Cheating is sneaking around behind your partner's back. This was just a drunk kiss that lasted maybe 3 seconds. A drunk kiss that you hid from me. Because I knew you'd overreact like this. Overreact? Zoe, how am I supposed to react to finding out that my girlfriend kissed another guy on vacation? You're supposed to understand that people make mistakes. You're supposed to realize that it didn't mean anything and that I came home to you. You came home to me because your vacation ended, not because you chose me. That's not true, isn't it? If the trip had been longer, if that guy had been more available, what would have happened? Nothing would have happened. It was just a kiss. Just a kiss that you were comfortable having in front of your friends, comfortable enough that they filmed it and thought it was funny. My friends didn't think it was funny, they thought it was stupid. But they filmed it anyway. Jessica films everything, you know that. And you knew she was filming when you kissed him. Zoe was quiet for a moment. I was drunk, I wasn't thinking clearly. You were thinking clearly enough to know that you shouldn't tell me about it. I was protecting you. You were protecting yourself. Fine. Yes, I was protecting myself, because I knew you'd react exactly like this. I knew you'd blow it out of proportion and make it into this huge thing when it's not. It's not a huge thing that my girlfriend kissed another guy. Not when it didn't mean anything. Not when it was just a stupid drunk mistake. How do I know it was just a kiss? Because I'm telling you it was just a kiss. How do I know you're telling me the truth? Because I love you. If you loved me, you wouldn't have kissed him in the first place. That's not fair. People in love make mistakes all the time. Do they? Because I've never kissed anyone else since we've been together. I've never even thought about kissing anyone else. Well, good for you. You're perfect. I'm not perfect, but I'm faithful. So am I. No, you're not. You literally just admitted to kissing another guy. One kiss doesn't make me unfaithful. What does it make you then? Human. I stood up from the couch, suddenly feeling like I couldn't breathe. I need some air. Where are you going? For a walk. Cameron, don't leave. We need to talk about this. We are talking about this. You're just not saying anything I want to hear. What do you want me to say? I want you to acknowledge that what you did was wrong. I want you to understand why I'm upset. I want you to show some remorse instead of acting like I'm being unreasonable. I did acknowledge it. I said I was sorry. You said you regretted it. That's not the same thing. What's the difference? The difference is that regret is about consequences. Sorry is about recognizing that you hurt someone you care about. I am sorry that I hurt you, but I'm also frustrated that you're making this into such a big deal. It is a big deal. Why? Because your ego is bruised. Because my trust is broken. Over one kiss. Over one kiss that you hid from me. Over one kiss that you're minimizing and making excuses for. Over one kiss that you're acting like I should just get over. You should get over it. It's 2024, Cameron. People kiss other people sometimes. It doesn't always mean something. It means something to me. Well, maybe you need to grow up. Those words hit me like a physical blow. Grow up. Yes, grow up. Stop being so possessive and controlling. Stop acting like you own me. I don't think I own you. I think I'm in an exclusive relationship with you. We are in an exclusive relationship. No, we're not anymore. One kiss doesn't end our exclusivity. It does for me. So what are you saying? I'm saying that I don't know if I can trust you anymore. I'm saying that I don't know if I can be with someone who thinks kissing other people is no big deal. So you're breaking up with me. I don't know. I need time to think. Time to think about what? About whether I can move past this. About whether I can trust you again. About whether we want the same things from this relationship. We do want the same things. Do we? Because I want a partner who wouldn't kiss someone else even when drunk. I want a partner who would tell me if something like this happened instead of hiding it. I want a partner who would understand why I'm upset instead of telling me to grow up. And I want a partner who wouldn't try to control me or make me feel guilty for making one mistake. I'm not trying to control you. I'm trying to have a conversation about boundaries and trust. Same thing. No, it's not. We stared at each other for a long moment, and I realized that we were at an impasse. She wasn't going to admit that what she'd done was wrong, and I wasn't going to pretend that it was okay. I'm going to stay at my friend's place tonight, I said finally. Cameron, don't do this. Don't punish me for being honest with you. You weren't honest with me. You only told me because I already knew. I would have told you eventually. When would you have told me? I don't know, when the time was right. The time was right when it happened. The time was right when you got home. The time was right when I asked you directly if anything happened. I was scared. Of what? Of this, of you reacting like this. How did you expect me to react? I expected you to be upset, but I also expected you to understand that it was just a mistake and that it didn't mean anything. It means something to me. I know, and I'm sorry about that. But I can't change what happened. No, you can't, but you can acknowledge that it was wrong and you can understand why I'm hurt and you can commit to making sure it never happens again. I already said it won't happen again. You said it wasn't a big deal. You said I need to grow up. You said it's 2024 and people kiss other people sometimes. That doesn't sound like someone who's committed to not doing it again. I'm not going to kiss anyone else. How do I know that? Because I'm telling you. You told me you missed me so much while you were gone. You told me the trip was amazing. You told me all about the restaurants and the clubs and the spa day, but you didn't tell me about the kiss. So forgive me if I don't take your word for it." She started crying then, and I felt the familiar tug of sympathy and guilt. For a moment, I wanted to comfort her, to tell her it was okay, to pretend that we could move past this. But then I remembered the video. I remembered how happy she'd looked with that guy, how natural and easy it had seemed. I remembered the way she'd laughed and turned toward him, the way she'd kissed him back. "I need space," I said. "I need time to think about this." "How much time?" "I don't know. Cameron, please, I love you. I made a mistake, but I love you. I love you too, but I don't know if love is enough anymore." I packed a bag and left. I've been staying at my friend Jake's place for the past week, and Zoe has been texting me constantly, apologizing, explaining, begging me to come home so we can work things out. But I keep coming back to the same question: if she could kiss another guy after 2 years together, if she could hide it from me, if she could minimize it and make me feel like I was overreacting, what else is she capable of? I thought I knew her. I thought I could trust her. I thought our relationship was solid, built on honesty and mutual respect. But maybe I was wrong about all of that. Maybe the person I fell in love with never really existed. Maybe I was in love with the idea of her, the version of her that she showed me when it was convenient. Maybe grow up, and it's 2024, were her way of telling me that her version of commitment is different from mine. Maybe we were never really on the same page about what our relationship meant. I don't know if I can move past this. I don't know if I can trust her again. Don't know if I can be with someone who thinks a kiss is just a kiss when it's not with me. What I do know is that I'm not begging anymore. I'm not chasing after someone who doesn't understand why I'm hurt. I'm not trying to convince someone to choose me when they've already shown me that they might not. I'm choosing myself. I'm choosing my own self-respect. Choosing to believe that I deserve better than someone who tells me to grow up when I'm hurt by their betrayal. Maybe that makes me controlling. Maybe that makes me possessive. Maybe that makes me old-fashioned. But I'd rather be all of those things than be with someone who doesn't think our relationship is worth protecting. I'd rather be alone than be with someone who thinks fidelity is optional. I'd rather start over than settle for someone who thinks my feelings are an overreaction. Tomorrow, I'm going to call Zoe and tell her that I'm done. Not because I don't love her, but because I love myself too much to accept this. I'm not begging anymore. I'm leaving. And for the first time in a week, I feel like I can breathe again.